Ram Swamiji. Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, 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 Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Pranam, Pujya Swamiji.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Swamiji. Pranams to Pujya Swami Shivatmananda. Welcome all to the 13th anniversary of Sri Radha Krishna Murti Sthapna at Chinmaya Mission Yamunotri. On behalf of Chinmaya Mission Chicago, I would like to welcome Pujya Swami Shivatmananda. Swamiji is a resident Swamiji of Chinmaya Mission San Antonio, Texas. In 2002, Swamiji joined the 12th Vedanta course at Sandipani Sadhanalaya in Mumbai under the guidance of Puja Guruji Swami Tejavananji and Swami Iswarananji. Then in 2004, Swamiji came to Chinmaya Mission Los Angeles, and in 2008, Swamiji...
Can we start?
Can you hear me, Swamiji?
I cannot hear you.
I am giving the introduction, Swamiji. Hariom, Swamiji.
Hariom, મને કશું સંભળાતું નથી, બધું જ muted છે.
I'm giving you the introduction. તમે અત્યારે muted છો. Let me Rajaji, Swamiji cannot hear us anything.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm checking.
Okay. Yeah, very clearly.
Can you say something?
Can you say, Swamiji, a few words? Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you through the phone, but not from the computer.
Is it something the
It's
volume increase?
It's okay.
No, I put the phone down, Swamiji. Can you hear me now? No. Hari Om, Swamiji. Okay, I'll check. Okay, so I'll do the introduction, Swamiji, and then I will do my thumbs up, and then you can start. Okay, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om, everyone. Sorry for the technical difficulty, but Swamiji cannot hear us, but we can hear Swamiji. So I'm just going to give you a brief introduction of Swamiji, and then Swamiji will start the discourse. So as I was saying, in 2002, Swamiji joined the 12th Vedanta course under the guidance of Swami Tejomananji and Swami Isarananji. In 2004, Swamiji came to Chinmaya Mission, Los Angeles. At present, Swamiji is at Chinmaya Mission, San Antonio, Texas. And Swamiji is guiding the many Chinmaya missions, Chinmaya Mission, Beaumont, Austin, Portland. And Swamiji started this Mukundamala last year during our 12th anniversary of Sri Radha Krishna Murti Sthapana. Swamiji had completed about 18 verses, and now Swamiji will continue, and hopefully we can complete the Mukundamala. I see many people are not joining with video, but I request everyone to please join with video so Swamiji can see us all. Swamiji has come to Chicago many times, so Swamiji probably can see so many of familiar faces. Please stay muted at all the time. And Swamiji, you can go ahead.
Hari Om, Namaste to everyone. Pranam. So sorry for these technical issues. Hopefully, I will be able to resolve it tomorrow. Good thing is you can hear me, so that's good. I'm the speaker. I have to speak. So I'm glad that you guys can hear me, for I cannot hear anything which is going on. I thank you for the introduction. Thank you so much. And we are continuing our study of Mukundamala. Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina-murtaye namaha Samasta jana kalyane Niratam karunamayam Namami chinmayam devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudev Vasutam Devam Kamsa Chanunamardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. So we are studying a textbook known as Mukundamala. This Mukundamala textbook, it is a composition of a great saint known as Kulashekar Adval. He is one of the 12 Iyengar saints, and Kulashekar Adval over here is approaching Bhagwan through the path of devotion. Ramana Maharshi Ji says that the path of knowledge is Marga Arjavad. It is straightforward, and that is understood as in kindergarten. Let's suppose a kindergarten teacher shows an apple and says to the students, this is apple, A for apple, B for a boy, C for cat, and teacher teaches all the alphabets. And then the next day when the teacher holds the apple and asks the students, A for, and the kids say apple, majority of the kids are going to get it. Now, maybe 2 or 3 kids, they probably have not seen it in their home, as the family doesn't purchase or something like that, whatever it may be. And then the teacher reminds, it's apple. And then the kid gets used to it. And then eventually the child learns that, this is apple. And then the child quickly picks up and says A for apple. So, but if the child doesn't pick this up, then the teacher gets worried. Is it that the child has difficulty seeing? Is it that the child has difficulty processing? Where is the problem? Teacher gets worried. She speaks to the principal. Principal calls the parents and says, simple thing, child's not able to follow apple. This is called pratyaksha jnana. Prati aksha. In front of our eyes, an apple is placed and an apple is shown, an apple is comprehended and it registers. But when the teacher says Prajnanam Brahma, when that child grows up and is no longer in kindergarten class, and one day finds themselves underneath a banyan tree with Dakshinamurti, and Dakshinamurti Bhagavan says, Tattvamasi. Now, that same child who is no longer a child has understood the material science and now is trying to understand, I am that. The language makes sense. This consciousness is Brahman. Prajnanam Brahman, it makes sense. The words are making sense, but the understanding in here has not quite grasped Tattvam Asi. So now the journey starts. how do I find that Tattvamasi? And the teacher goes on to all the explanations about what is Tat and what is Tvam and what is Asi. And then the student starts the journey of Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasan. And the student is an earnest student, studies and reflection and meditation. But it is difficult. So Kulashekar Arwal over here approaches that knowledge through the path of devotion. The idea is to assimilate Tattvamasi. The idea is to completely abide in Prajnanam Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. Ayamatma Brahma. There is a goal. But between me as an individuality and the words Aham Brahmasmi, there's a lot of distance to be covered. And it is not a physical distance. It is the removal of the ignorance between me and my own understanding. That's all. It is the elimination of ignorance. And the elimination of ignorance is done based upon knowledge, devotion, action, Raj Yoga. There are so many different paths. As per our own internal makeup, we define the path that we are going to tread in spirituality. Swami Chinmayananji advocated the path of Raj Yoga. He says, listen to the Shastra, do Shravanam of Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads. Offer yourself in seva. He created the platform of Chinmaya mission for Karma Yoga to purify. And he says, unite the head and the heart. The head, when it takes on to the understanding of Upanishadic aphorisms, the heart has to feel for it. And the heart which has to feel for the Upanishadic aphorisms, that heart has to be doped in a heavy dose of devotion to eradicate the ignorance by cultivating punya. And the cultivation of punya is the removal, a chance is given to us to remove ignorance. So that for that amount of time, the mind abides in the understanding and stays closer to the thought of Brahman, Bhagavan, whatever the heart has chosen. The synthesis of Jnana and Bhakti allows the bird of spirituality, the bird of a student of spirituality to take flight. And this is a fantastic book to cultivate devotion. And devotion is nothing but the thought of Parabrahma Paramatma continuously staying in the background of our mind. Continuous reminder that I am on this journey. the work that I'm doing over here is temporary. My actual purpose is to reach that. And bhakti allows us to stay close to this Bhagwan within us. So we did up to shloka number, I was looking at it, shloka number 18, we have up to 18 we have done. So we will continue from shloka number 19. हे मर्त्या परमं हितं शृणुतवो वक्ष्यामि संक्षेपतः संसारार्णवमाददूर्मि बहुलं सम्यक् प्रविश्य स्थिताः नानाज्ञानमपास्य चेतसि नमो नारायणायेत्यमुं मन्त्रं सप्रणवं प्रणामसहितं प्रावर्त्यध्वं मुहुः. So over here Kulashekar Adwal is giving his own mind an advice through the platform of people, because he's the king. He's actually giving himself advice, but he's addressing, hey martyaha, oh mortals, oh mortal souls who are roaming about on this planet. Hey martyaha paramam hitam shrunutavo vakshyami sankshepatah. Aham sankshepata vakshyami paramam hitam. In brief, I am going to talk to you about hitam, something which is very beneficial, shrunu. Paramam hitam, the absolute, supremely beneficial words I'm about to utter. You please listen. And what is it? Samsara arnavam apada urmi bahulam. This vast ocean of transmigration, which has huge waves of transmigration, coming in, going out, coming in, going out. We are just riding the waves of this samsar. Samyak pravishya sthitaha. Very well, we have entered this entire samsar of change, and we have come about in here. And what is the reason why we have come about over here? Nana ajnanam apasya chetasi. This chetasi, this mind of ours, nana ajnana, various types of ignorance is cluttering our mind, which is not allowing us to know our own true, real, absolute identity, and we are owning up some relative identity, accepting that to be our absolute identity, because of which the jiva acts upon in this world of actions and creates more and more of karmic bondage. And that is what is creating urmi, the waves in the ocean of coming into existence, leaving only to come back into the samsara again, going away, coming in, going away, coming in, this continuous urmi, this continuous wave. Mantram sap pranavam pranama sahitam he martyaha pravartya muhuhu. Pravartayadvam muhuhu. Again and again you repeat, and what is that mantra? Namo Narayanayethyamum. This mantra of Om Namo Narayanaय. Pranava Sahita. Pranava Sahita meaning Om. It is said Om Namo Narayanaya. You know, this continuously chanting of the mantra is what is referred to over here in this shloka, that may one continuously chant the name of Bhagavan. And the chanting of the name of Bhagavan, even Bhagavan Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita says, Yajnanam japa yajñosmi. Of all yajna, it is the yajna of the continuous chanting of the name. Now, he has painted a picture, and the picture is, Hey Martyaha. Martya meaning mortal. We are going to die. And because we are going to die, the death is the first one which creates worries in us. So the mind is disturbed by worries. Then he's saying the worry is about me dying. Me dying from this world, dying, giving up this body, and giving up this body in this samsara. And what is indicated over here is death is for sure in samsara. And if death is there, birth is going to be there. Bhagavan says that for the one who is jatasya hi dhruvor mrityu, the one who is born, death is for certain. And the one who has died, birth is for certain. If this ajnana is not removed, then this cycle continues. Nana ajnanamapasya chetasi. To remove this ignorance of the mind, O my mind, cultivate the punya of chanting the name of Bhagavan. Now, when we look at Vedanta, the whole Vedanta is addressed over here, but over here chanting the name. In Vedanta, what is required is clarity of thought that I am Brahman. And what is contrary thought, I have to give that up. Sajatiya vritti sahita, vijatiya vritti tiraskritya, manasa vyapariti dhyanam. Mind continuously thinking on the same line of thought. Aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, I'm not the pancha mahabhutas. Neither am I the sapta dhatus. I have never been born, I have never been. So all these ideas of Upanishadic lore is what is repeated over here through this beautiful path of devotion. Please don't think that in devotion there is no understanding. Look at how much Kulashekar Adwal already has understood about Vedanta. So continuously recalling Bhagavan's name in our mind keeps our mind away from all the contrary thoughts of our own vasana generated thought pattern. Our thought pattern is as though it is a programmed ananta koti janmantara. Even for a jnani, we should never take this mind. We should never ever take this mind for granted. Gurudev himself continuously, if he was not engaged in writing letters, speaking to people, pravachan, bhiksha, and if he's traveling in the car, in the plane, in the train, mind was always addressing the name of Paramatma. So the sadhana which is presented in this shloka is, may we take our mind to Bhagavan's name. We are approaching eve of Krishna Janmashtami. Bhagavan himself has taken this Purna avatar. Before he arrived as Krishna, he arrived as Rama. And in Rama avatar, he got deluded. Even as an avatar. And he had to be taken, Dashrath Maharaj had to take him to Vashishta Maharshiji. Vashishta Maharshiji gives him knowledge, which is what we have as Thaso Thas Vedanta of Yoga Vashishta. Absolute knowledge was given. Rama was reminded of his own true nature. Imagine he's a Purna avatar. That is because the world which is so fascinating captivates the thought pattern of our mind. The outside world is vibrating at a frequency, and the inside world has the frequency of vasanas, and they are never on the same congruent path. That is the problem. The problem is the outside world never meets the inner world of my ideas, my thoughts. How come what I want is not happening? How come my near and dear ones are suffering? How come I'm working so hard and I am not seeing the results? The other person is lazy and has all vaibhav around them. This is the autobiography of a jiva. I have cows in the ashram, and I was just observing the other day, I had given them grass. And there is a fully grown cow, and there is a calf. And the calf was eating grass. And the older cow came and snatched it from the little one's mouth. And I'm thinking, શું વિચિત્ર સંસાર છે. What kind of samsar is this? A little one is struggling to survive, and the older one takes it from the mouth. It reminded me of Darwin's theory of survival of the fittest. The physically strong personality can survive. Now imagine in the spiritual realm, it is survival of the one who has conquered the thoughts. That is what is powerful in the spiritual realm. Darwin has given us the understanding of the outside world. Rishis have given us the understanding of the inside world. And it is the survival of the one who has conquered the thoughts. And to conquer the inner thoughts, we have to make sure that the outside world doesn't come to bother us. Somebody told me, Swamiji, spirituality is very selfish. I said, yeah, it has to be. You imagine Vairagya. Isn't Vairagya selfish? It has to. The jiva is working for moksha. It is a selfish thought. What else? But this selfish thought, when churned long enough, and when the hard ignorance is removed, and what is just seen beyond the veil of Maya, the veil of ignorance, the picture, the canvas which holds the Maya begins to show itself. And in there we see Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. But to reach there, necessarily we have to detach from our own kids, our own spouse, our own kith and kin. It is selfish. Self-induced thought pattern. Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya. To ascend the ladder of yogahood, it requires great amount of inner strength, because we have to give up a lot. We really do. And over here, Kulashekara Adwal is saying, give up the thought pattern which is so natural to your mind and create an unnatural thought pattern of Om Namo Narayana. It is an unnatural thought pattern because what is natural to the mind is worries and anxieties. That is natural thought pattern. That is what is said over here. Nana ajnanam apasya chetasi. Remove this chetasi from the mind. Various ignorance. How? Om Namo Narayanaye Amum Mantram Pranama Sahitam. Pranama Sahitam meaning wholeheartedly, not mechanically, but feel it. And that will take you to Bhagavan. Continuing, shloka number 20. Prithvire runanu payamsi kanika phalgus fulingo lagu tejo nishwasanam maruttanutaram Randram susukshmam nabha Kshudra rudra pitamaha prabrutayah Kita samasta suraha Drushte yatra satavako vijayate Bhumavadhutavadihi. Please understand the shloka properly. There's a lot of sometimes if it is not understood properly, it can make us fanatic. That's why. So it has to be understood in the proper spirit. Now, over here it is said, Prithvi Renu Anu. The whole of earth is just insignificant dust particle. Now, this shloka is from the standpoint of absolute knowledge, or in this case, this shloka is from the standpoint of absolute devotion. When Om Namo Narayana takes over this mind and the mind becomes Narayana Maya, where the mind doesn't see anything except Narayan, in that avastha of the mind, this shloka is composed. So in that Narayan Anubhuti avastha, we can say, and again, because of the shortage of proper words in English, I am using the word avastha, even though it is actually not an avastha, it is a state of being, you know. The absolute is not an experience. The absolute is an identity. Like it is me being Swami Shivatmananda is not an avastha. Like I wake up and, okay, I am Swami Shivatmananda. It is not an avastha. It is me. It is my identity. And I don't have to do a mantra japa. I am Swami Shivatmananda. I am Swami Shivatmananda. I am Swami Shiva. We don't. Identity is ever known. It is known. And once known, you can never forget it. Unless if there is some issues. But when we talk about spiritual awakening, the spiritual awakening is not a state of being like Jagrat, Swapna, Shushupti. The spiritual awakening is an ever-awakened soul. And that ever-awakened soul knows, I am. That's all. From that it is said, Prithvi Renu Anu. Earth is a mere dust particle. Payamsi Kanika, and the oceans are nothing but Kanika, a drop. Phalgu Vispulingo Laguhu. Phalgu, the Spulinga, the sparks which are coming out of fire, and we can take the fireball Surya, and from the corona of the sun, you know, solar flares come out into the entire Milky Way galaxy, which are thousands and thousands of miles. A Spulingu. You imagine a spark is that long. So in that Agni Tattva, what is said is Spulingaha, this little spark is Phalgu Laguhu, is insignificant, little, like a speck of light of a firefly. Tejo Nishwasa, Laguhu Tejaha. Then Nishwasanam Marut Tanutaram. Marudganas, there are 54 different forms of Marudganas, the winds, so many different. If we go to Jupiter, science tells us that on Jupiter and all that, it's a continuously, the dark spot that we see is nothing but a giant hurricane-like thing going on with thousands of miles an hour, Vantoro, huge, continuously tornado-like. So all these different types of winds which exist in the universe, it is Nishwasanam, like an out-breath of a human being, insignificant. Randram Susukshmam Nabaha. Nabaha, the space, is Randra, is like a little hole that we create in a giant balloon, that is the space element. So the Panch Mahabhutas are reduced to something insignificant. And then it says, Kshudra Rudra Pitamaha Prabhrutayaha. This Pitamaha Brahmaji, Rudraha, these Ekadasha Rudra. Now, this is what I was saying, that please take it properly. Over here, Kulashekar Adwal, his Ishta Devata is Narayana. So, Narayana being the Ishta Devata, the whole universe is nothing but Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. And for him, there is no difference between Vishnu Tattva and Rudra Tattva. It is all one and the same. So what he's saying is the mighty force of the universe, represented by Rudra Bhagwan, and Brahmaji, the creative force and the destructive force, over here he is saying Kshudra, are just insignificant. And Kita Samasta Suraha, and all the devatas, 33 crore devatas which keep the entire universe alive, are, over here he is referring, Kita, are nothing but worms. Drushte yatra satavake vijete bhumavadhavatihi. And oh Lord, what can I say about the glory? The created world is insignificant. Basically, what over here Kulashekar Adwal is saying is, in the light of awareness, in the abidance of truth, Maya is reduced to ashes. This is what is said. And why does he say that after he's saying this mantra of Om Namo Narayanaya? What he's saying is, use this tool to reach the highest moksha, which is Narayan. And from that, all this is nothing. So while you are chanting and while you are still alive and have the ability to chant his name, because in reality, anything that you utter in these realm of 5 elements is Kshudra. It is insignificant. How much we go to protect the property, a car, Auto, there is auto insurance. Home, there is home insurance. Life, there is life insurance, you know. Everything we are going for it. We worry if there is a big bank balance. A chokra anu su karse. We worry if there is no bank balance. Mara gaya pachi a loko su karse. Continuously worry and worry. And our life ebbs away in front of us. And he has painted a picture of the Pancha Mahabhutas, which are reduced to nothing. Revocable living trust. I mean, yes, if we have cultivated wealth, protect it. But don't lose your vitality behind it. I know someone who lost 14 members of their family in this COVID in India, in one parivar. And the only saving grace in all this and ability to move on is knowledge of Vedanta. How much? So there's a loss of wealth. There's loss of life. There's loss of acquisition of objects. There will be loss. Actually, in the realm of pluralistic existence, there is no gain except in the spiritual realm, because that gain alone is going to retain itself. Thus, Kulashekar Adwal has painted this picture of the Almighty is limitless presence, and that presence is priceless. Everything else is Kshudra. Everything else is just insignificant. See, this type of understanding allows us to tackle our daily life. There's politics at home, politics at work, politics even in social organizations. So we have to make sense of this world, and we have to do whatever course is appropriate for our own understanding, and then just move on. Just move on. Make a decision and move on. Make a decision and move on. Not much we can do. Such is the ephemeral nature of life. If bhakti is there, it makes us robust. If understanding of jnanam is there, it makes us mentally strong. So both devotion and knowledge prepare us to deal with this world, and deal with it in such a way that we never come back, by realizing its futile nature of continuous change. And in the process, I realize I am changeless. We realize we are changeless. This is with mantra strengthening ourselves to see the picture of the cosmic world. Now, over here, to move on and to continue on this path of spirituality, it's not that easy. Grace is required. So now he's seeking grace from Bhagavan. Baddhenanjalina natena shirasa gatrai sarodmodgamaihi kanthena swara gadgadena nayanena udgirna bashpambuna nityam tvacharanavindu yugaladhya namruta swadinam asmakam sarasiruhaksha satatam sampadyatam jivitam. Hey Sarasiruhaksha, oh the beautiful lotus-eyed one, Narayana, asmakam jivanam satatam sampadyatam. Oh Bhagavan, may our life be enriched. Over here, sampadyatam, samyakpatti. Oh Bhagavan, may this life of ours be enriched. In the midst of all ups and downs of this world, may the richness and the quality of the thought that I possess ever remain victorious. Richness is measured by the quality and the texture of thought. This is the true wealth. So, how do we measure that wealth of the richness of thought? It expresses itself in a particular way. What is that expression? He's described that. He's saying, Baddhena Anjalina, the O Lord, with hands folded, Bhagavan, Natena Shirasa, and the head bowed down to you, O Bhagavan. Gatre Gatrehi Sarodmodgamaihi. Gatrehi, this body filled with horripilation. The richness of thought is measured over here. That the person is seeing Narayana, eyes closed, hands folded, oh Lord. And the whole body, the horripilation is every cell of the body is feeling the presence of Bhagavan. Now, Bhagavan is not some tangible thing that we can measure, hold on to, acquire, possess. But Bhagavan has been captured in the cage of our own heart, held together with the wires of Shraddha and Bhakti. And that cage of Shraddha and Bhakti has captured Narayana. And that Narayana, which we feel within us, sends signal to the entire body. Every cell reverberates in the presence of Bhagavan. And every hair stands straight on the body. And he's saying, Kanthena Swara Gadgadena. The throat is incapable of making sound. And even if I do, the hiccups like throat choking and gasping for air the back portion of the throat dried up in the feeling in the presence of Bhagavan. Nayanena udgirna bashpanguna, and the eyes are flooded with tears, and the rivers of tears are flowing down the cheeks. Nityam tvat charanaravinda yugalam dhyana amruta asvadana. When this person sits down for meditation, O Bhagavan, in this dhyana avastha, tvat charanaravinda, just seeing your feet and feeling your presence, body going through horripilation, the throat incapable of making sound, the back of the throat completely dried, mind overcome with the presence of Bhagavan, which is a joy in itself. The eyes cry out of sorrow and the eyes cry out of happiness. The body produces horripilation out of fear, and the body produces horripilation out of love of Bhagavan. And this is the anubhuti of a person who sits in meditation. It is not a forced thought. This thought has now, the mantra has evolved into a being which we have captured with Shraddha and Bhakti in Dhyana Avastha. Thus, the answer in Kaivalya Upanishad is Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana, Yoga, Davai. This over here is the grace of Bhagavan. When Bhagavan's grace is there, we feel it. Without his grace, nobody can feel this. That blue boy of Vrindavan, Gurudev used to fondly call him. He cannot be captured by Mother Yashoda, no matter how much she tried to tie him. Extra ropes of the whole universe, if are brought, they will fall short. She gives up the effort, and he himself walks. This Bhagavan is available. First, we have to put our effort of mantra japa. And when this mantra japa floods our entire being, continuously watering the plants, plucking flowers, cooking, cleaning, whatever chores we are doing, if this name is there, it continuously keeps the mind of the higher thoughts. And when that happens, when the mind remains elevated and we sit down even for 5 minutes, and the minute we start, Kasturi tilakam lalala patle, vakshastale kaustubam, nasa gre nava muktikam karatale venur kare kankanam. The shloka doesn't have to finish, and the Krishna Tattva has arrived in the fertile pastures of our mind. I will end over here. We will continue tomorrow. These are beautiful, beautiful shlokas. And we will continue tomorrow. I'm so sorry I cannot hear you. So Premalji, you please take over. Hope I'll check my computer, everything. I checked my volume. My volume is maximum. I don't know why. I'll have to do something. Thank you so much. We will meet tomorrow. Hari Om.
Hari Om, if you can please just take a couple of more minutes. Rajulji has the details about the tomorrow's program from 10 to 12. Rajulji.
Hari Om. Our gratitude, our deep gratitude to Pujya Swamiji for today's beautiful discourse. It is a beginning of our Murti Sthapana anniversary celebrations. So we will continue tomorrow. In the morning, we have a very special program. You can join using the same Zoom link that you used for the discourse today. Starting at 10 a.m., we have an open house. So if you are close to Yamunotri or you have any friends or family who would like to visit, please invite them. We will be opening the building and of course we'll have some protocols, but we're most welcome to visit Yamunotri in the morning starting at 10. But on Zoom, we will have a special program that will be showing glimpses from our Balavihar class, followed by classes, followed by our some of our chicks doing special dance and some nice bhajans and some special items. So please tune in at 10 a.m. And we should be concluded by noon tomorrow. And again, if you'd like to join in person, you'd be able to watch the program there as well. So that's tomorrow. And then in the evening, again, our discourse with Swamiji will be from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Same Zoom link. And then on Sunday is our actual puja and havan for Lord Sri Krishna and Radhaji. And that begins at 10 a.m. If you can come to the mission in person, most welcome. If you'd like to make a puja offering, we have sponsorship levels of Annadan, Mukhya Yajman, Puja, whatever level you'd like to make an offering. Rajaji, if you could put the link, if you could put our donate link in the chat box, if somebody'd like to sign up. And if you sign up and you want to watch the puja from home, you can do that as well. So 10 a.m. onward, the Zoom link will be available. We have some of our Mukhya Yajmans who will not be able to be there in person, so they will be watching the puja on Zoom. So please join us for that. And then we have some prasad lunch for everybody after the puja on Sunday. And then Sunday evening, we will continue with the discourses again, same time, 7:30 to 8:30. And then on Monday as well is a final day of the discourse from 7:30 to 8:30. And this will be followed by a short Lord Sri Krishna Puja and some bhajan and kirtan, because Monday is the actual Janmashtami day. So we will be concluding and having a short puja celebration afterward. So that is our program details, and we want you to please spread the word and share the flyer with your families or friends. And again, most welcome to visit Yamunotri either Saturday or Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon. Thank you. Hari Om. Have a wonderful evening.